So imagine this. You get an inheritance, but it's not money or a house. It's a choice, a terrible choice between two futures that are both, well, pretty much impossible. One you can see coming, and the other is hidden light years away. Today, we're going to dive into the story of a man facing exactly that. This isn't just a fear of failure. No, this is a premonition. It's a chilling certainty that is absolutely haunting our protagonist, a man named Gil, who's standing right on the very edge of his own mind, terrified of a dance he feels like he's been destined to learn his entire life. We first meet Gil on his 35th birthday. And yeah, he's waking up with a pretty nasty hangover, but that is by far the least of his problems. You see, his world isn't just a little shaky, it's completely collapsing in on itself. At 35, Gil should really be hitting his stride, but instead, this former military biologist has been out of a job for 5 excruciating months. His marriage is hanging on by a single thread, the debt is just piling up, and underneath it all, a clock is ticking, a genetic time bomb he got from his father. And you want to know the ultimate cruelty, the thing that should make him the perfect candidate? His military service is the very thing that gets his resume thrown in the trash. In his last interview, the head of security told him flat out that veterans are potentially unstable. Just a stunning piece of irony, because the real instability is the one hiding in his DNA. So just when it feels like every single door on Earth has been slammed shut in his face, a call comes through. It's a voice from a past he had totally forgotten about, and it's offering an escape that sounds way too perfect to be real. You know that one job application you filled out like 8 years ago and just completely forgot about? Yeah, that's what this is. The Corpus Conquistadores, the most legendary private military company on the planet, is calling about an application Gil filed ages ago during a bad patch. Now it's pretty much his only lifeline. And, I mean, what an offer it is. A scientific mission to a brand new world. He can bring his wife and daughter along. The pay is astronomical. And the company swears the risk is minimal. A Category A mission, basically the safest you can get. It's like a miracle that solves every single one of his problems all at once. But, miracles like that often come with some serious fine print. So, before he makes a decision, Gil looks up his old friend Jokar, a hardened veteran of the Corpus Conquistadors, to find out what the real catch is. And believe me, it is a big one. So, the first catch. It's a number. A number so massive it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. 163,000. That's how many light years away this new world is. We're not just talking about another star system. We're talking about another galaxy entirely. And here's the real price tag on that distance. Because of the weird physics of interstellar travel, the round trip, a journey that will feel like it takes no time at all for Gil and his family, will mean that 40 years, 40, will pass back on Earth. Everyone he knows will either be old or just gone. To really make Gil feel the weight of that, Jokar lays out this incredible, terrifying analogy. He says, imagine the sun is just a single poppy seed on this table. The closest star to us wouldn't be on the next table or even across the street. It would be another poppy seed 28 kilometers away. He's staring into a void of almost incomprehensible emptiness. But as if that whole losing everyone you know thing wasn't enough, Jokar then shares a story that just cuts right to the bone of what the Corpus Conquistadors is really all about. And it is not a story of heroism. It's a story of cold corporate cynicism. See, Jokar's team got sent to find a lost group of colonists, and they found them all dead. Their skin had been eaten away by these microscopic parasites, a horrific way to go that happens while the victims are still alive. But the company's reaction wasn't horror. It was a sick joke. They named the planet Hanaha, after some ancient Mayan god without skin. For them, it wasn't a tragedy. It was just a dark, twisted branding opportunity. So this raises the huge question, right? Why would anyone sign up for this? Why would you take your family on a 40-year trip into the void, run by a bunch of cynical monsters? Well, because what Gil is running from is, in his mind, infinitely worse. This is Gil's real inheritance, a genetic coin flip. Between now, his 35th birthday, and the age of 44, there is a 50-50 chance an anomalous protein in his DNA will mutate. And if it does, it will start to poison his cells, systematically destroying his mind, his motor control, his very self. And the thing is, Gil has seen this movie before. He watched his own father, once this vibrant, amazing man, just unravel. First, he stopped reading. Then came the involuntary jerks and spasms, what his mother bitterly called the dance of the dunce. Soon he was like a child again, couldn't even feed himself, until finally he fell from a 30th floor window to his death. He remembers his father from before the disease, a man who would kneel by his bed at night and ask that simple, loving question. The memory of that warmth, compared to the empty, twitching shell his father became, is the horror he just cannot bear to inflict on his own daughter. So while Gil is just paralyzed by this impossible choice, the world he knows pretty much makes the decision for him. The walls don't just close in, they come crashing down. He gets home to find a letter from the bank. Because he's been unemployed so long, his credit line is frozen. And worse, they're calling in the entire mortgage on their apartment. Like, right now. The slow financial burn has just turned into a full-blown explosion. They are about to lose everything. His wife, Vera, who is already at her wit's end, confronts him. And her question isn't about the mortgage or their future. It's about survival. It's about tomorrow. That raw, desperate cry just shatters whatever was left of their life together. The possibility of a normal life on Earth has just been completely erased. And this brings us right to the agonizing moral question at the very heart of this story. Because there are no good options left. There are only different kinds of betrayal. So what does he do? On one hand, he can stay. He can face the dance and force his wife and daughter to watch him dissolve into nothing, becoming a financial and emotional black hole that just consumes them all. Or does he take the offer? Does he gamble on this cynical mission to another galaxy, dragging his family 163,000 light years from home? It's a choice between a certain hell and a deeply, deeply uncertain salvation. What do you do when the only way to save your family might be to betray them?